So today, we're diving into a really strange mix of headlines. On one hand, you've got a literal fog that's brought the country to a grinding halt, but at the same time, the stock market is absolutely soaring. And then, way in the background, you've got these whispers of war getting louder. So how do these three completely different things connect? Well, let's get into it.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is the actual physical fog we're all seeing just a mirror for a much deeper uncertainty? A kind of fog of confusion in our economy and maybe a fog of war brewing on the world stage? Let's break this down.
All right, let's start with what's right in front of us, or, well, what we can't see in front of us. A massive blanket of fog has just rolled in, and it's causing some serious disruptions all across the country. And look, this isn't just some little patch of bad weather. The impact is huge. We're talking about it stretching all the way across the country's heartland, from Punjab and KP right down into Sindh. Even parts of Karachi are getting hit hard. The situation is pretty severe. I mean, we're talking visibility dropping to almost zero. Just imagine trying to drive to work when you can barely see the hood of your own car. For millions of people, this is way more than an inconvenience. It's a real safety hazard. And of course, that has a massive knock-on effect. When visibility gets this bad, the authorities have no choice but to close down the major motorways. That basically shuts down the country's main arteries, bringing travel and business to a complete standstill.
Okay, but here's where the story gets really interesting. While the entire country was pretty much shrouded in this thick fog, the financial markets, they were seeing nothing but clear blue skies. This contrast is just fascinating.
On that very same day, the Pakistan stock market jumped up by a really impressive 490 points. Now, that's not just a number on a screen. It's a huge signal of investor confidence, a real burst of economic optimism on what was, for everyone else, a pretty gloomy day. And that 490-point surge, it actually pushed the index past the 18,883,000 mark. Now, crossing a big threshold like that is a big deal. It's often seen as a psychological boost for the whole market, kind of suggesting a new level of health, at least for now. So we've got this physical fog on the ground, but financial sunshine in the market. Now let's zoom all the way out to the international stage, where there's a different kind of fog, a much more dangerous kind, the fog of war. The main claim, which is reportedly coming from an American TV channel, is just incredibly blunt. It says Trump wants a strong and decisive attack on Iran. I mean, that is a shockingly direct statement. It suggests a very clear, very aggressive intention. And that report goes even further. It claims that there's evidence suggesting an attack isn't just some distant possibility, it could actually be imminent. Now, that is the kind of intelligence that puts the entire world on high alert. And this brings us right back to where we started, to this whole idea of fog. Only this time, it's not the weather. We're talking about a strategic fog, a deliberate, intentional ambiguity that seems to be a big part of America's geopolitical strategy right now. So you might be wondering, how can being unclear actually be a weapon? Well, according to Western military officials mentioned in the report, this is a core idea. Taking unexpected actions, basically keeping your opponent guessing, is seen as a fundamental part of their military strategy. Being predictable can be a huge weakness. And this quote really drives that point home. It confirms the whole strategy. We're being told that this lack of clarity isn't a sign of confusion or that they don't know what to do. No, it's on purpose. The ambiguity is the message. It's a calculated move to keep everyone else off balance. And so here we are, ending right where we began, in the fog. A literal one on our streets, and a strategic fog of war playing out on the world stage. It leaves us with a really critical question for a day like today. When our own local problems and these huge global dangers all happen at once, where are we, and where do our leaders choose to focus?